Alright everyone, I'm Rooster and this is the PX-5200 mechanical gaming keyboard from Perixx. Now, as you can see here right in front of us, a very typical, very straightforward full keyboard layout. You do have some programmable keys up here at the top, which we will get to later in the video. As you can see right off the bat, we have a white backlight. You don't have any other colors other than that, just a white backlight. This is the Cherry MX Blue flavor, which you're going to see here in a moment once we do a zoom in on the keys. And these, being that it is a Cherry MX, keyboard, you can add your own custom keys later on if you want to add different colors, buy aftermarket keys for the arrow keys, the WASD keys, or anything else that you can pretty much possibly imagine. Now, first thing to bring up, as you can imagine, is blues. I mean, a lot of Cherry MX keys in general, but the blues have very tactile feedback and a lot more of a clicky sound, whereas browns, blacks, and reds have much more of a softer and not so noticeable click, if any. So here's an example of that. Now, you saw in the beginning also that we had some different light patterns, and the light does stay white for the most part, so if you want an RGB keyboard, this is not going to be, your choice. But simply, the patterns are as follows. You want to hold the MR key, which is your programming key, all the way to the top left, and then press Tab, and you get WASD, arrow keys, no light at all, and then a full lit keyboard. I would have liked to see personally a button here to adjust the illumination, but as far as I can tell, that did not, come applied with this keyboard. A few things I should mention. It's not horribly important, but I didn't really do an unboxing in this case because there really isn't much to show. But coming out of the box, you obviously do get the keyboard, and you get a nice braided cable. It's going to help with tangling and whatnot. It's going to be a lot more durable. But you also get the one end is mini USB, which tucks underneath conveniently, also very cleverly, so it doesn't pull or get tugged. It gets channeled around the underneath of the keyboard there, and it gets secured so you're not accidentally pulling, or you're going to damage that one mini USB port. And then it terminates at a regular sized USB, but also comes with a PS2 adapter, so you get that full N key rollover. Now, granted, I'm not going to be smashing all my keys together, but the one thing I want to mention is that in my box for this keyboard, it didn't come with a user manual, and I'm like, okay, how do I program this thing then? So it might have just been a fluke in my case where it didn't have the user manual in the box, but I went on the website, Perixx.com. Obviously, you make sure you click English or, whatever corresponding language in your country on their website there, and you can view the user manual, any user manual for any of their products in PDF format in your browser, no problem. So upon reading the user manual, I was able to find out exactly how to program these keys. Now, you can't, unfortunately, map any programs or any other specific functions to these keys, which I find a little bit silly, a little bit too boring, just a little bit, because considering the price point of this keyboard, which we'll get to, the only way you can actually utilize these programmable keys is, in fact, you hold the MR and either one of the M1 through M8 keys. You hold one, and you want to go ahead, and all this really does, it's going to map what you type afterwards. So let's say Perixx keyboard, period, right? And now it's blinking, or it has been blinking, then you touch it again, blinks really quickly, and then it shuts off. So then, when I press M1, it's just going to give me the Perixx keyboard, period, on the screen. Now, that can be handy for certain applications, but as far as I know and I understand, that is the entire point of these programmable keys. I would have liked to see a little bit more functionality there, even if it required a, a little utility on the side with a, convenient, nice-looking user interface, so you can actually put these keys to use for other things other than just having it type what you want it to type. Now, as per many gaming keyboards, you do get the option to shut off your Windows key, and you're going to want to do that with the G key up here at the top right. You're going to see that in a moment. You touch it once, it lights up, and your Windows key just does not work. It is broken. It killed the Windows key. And up here you also have your mute and volume up and down keys. Now, going back to the typing, actually, I forgot to mention the feel of it. It feels like... Oops. Well, it feels like It's nice and loud and clicky and clickety-clackety. It feels just like an MX Blue, you know, mechanical keyboard. However, some keys, though many keyboards suffer from this, but some keys like the Enter, Shift, and Spacebar, being that the Spacebar is a big freaking, you know, piece of plastic here, mind you, they do feel kind of clunky and mushy. Whereas they, you know, maybe they could have, you know, it's just the stems on the bottom on either side that help support the bigger key. Maybe they could have implemented that a little bit better, but it's not exactly a red flag for me, but it just feels a little mushier than the rest of the keys. Now finally, the feet on the bottom, very nice grippy rubber here, not very hard rubber, not very soft rubber, but just in between. So it's nice and grippy here, and it elevates the keyboard if you, if you see fit to have it elevate, and you have some more rubby feet here down the bottom. And as you can see, you get the routing of the cable right there, very nice. The overall construction of the keyboard, which I should have mentioned in the beginning, is plastic. For the price point, that's fine. I mean, it does feel sturdy. It doesn't have a whole lot of flex at all, but yeah, you know, I can agree with that. I'm not gonna, you know, gripe. I'm not gonna consider that too much of a gripe, considering that it's all plastic. But the paint job, the paint does seem fairly well done in comparison to another keyboard that I did from them recently. It was a membrane gaming keyboard with a bunch of colors. The paint job on that could have been a little bit better, but nonetheless, it was tolerable, I guess. As far as price point, I'm going to go ahead and compare it price-wise to, let's say, something like a CM Quickfire TK, I believe. Not the Rapid from Cooler Master, because I think the Rapid is significantly more money. Maybe 20, 30, 40 bucks more. It depends where you look it up. And I believe those are mainly red switches. I'm not sure if they come in the blue switch flavor or not, but the Cooler Master Quickfire TK is about the same price or $10 less. I would say Perixx, my personal opinion would be, and this opinion is my own of course, is I would say bring it to the same price as that. Give this about 10 bucks less, especially for the fact of the cons that I pointed out. You know, the mushy keys aren't that big of a deal, but the not so programmable keys, you can actually eliminate these. I don't even need these programmable keys, considering that they only do one thing. And there's no light illumination adjust, you know, you can't adjust illumination. You get 3 patterns, that's fine. I'm glad it has the walls and the arrows and whatnot, if you don't want the blaring, you know, if it's for someone it's too bright maybe. But that's another thing, you should be able to adjust this. I don't see a function of that anywhere indicated in the manual or anywhere in an obvious key here. So that's really the only cons that I really have to mention is, for this keyboard. I would say definitely bring down the price of this item till about, let's say, 10-15 bucks less, and then Perixx, you guys have a very competitive stance in the market when it comes to an entry-level mechanical keyboard. Just keep that in mind. That's my personal opinion, and that's just how I feel about it. So guys, that's pretty much it. This has been the PX-5200 mechanical gaming keyboard from Perixx. So go visit them at perixx.com. All the pertinent information is at the bottom of the description of this video if you want to check it out and check pricing. Yeah, that is pretty much it, guys. I'm trying to, you know, smooth out the rough edges of my videos. You know, I don't want to get too overly professional, and for me to be professional 110% is just a joke. Anyway, I'm going to be friendly, casual, and probably still often be silly with you guys anyway. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys in the next one, and thanks for watching. So, god damn it. Get out of here.